Now I'm really starting to make the transition from martial artist to martial scientist. Years ago in college, it was one of the many things that people have just screamed at me from across the aisle of conscious blackness and not explain it. Just use it to berate me and make me feel like I'm just some sort of lost Oreo who doesn't have knowledge of self. Somebody, I can't even remember who it was, just screamed, "Man, you need to not just be a martial artist, you need to be a martial scientist, my brother. A scientist. It's the martial scientist, not the martial arts." I'm like, thank you. I don't know what that means, and you just like probably ran up my blood pressure by about 5 or 10 points, but thank you. You know, don't just be screaming on people and flexing on them, even if it's intellectually without explaining what you mean. But now, at the phase I'm at, especially with the Q show's leading to a study of anatomy, and that's science. And really the whole 5 elements thing is part of Chinese philosophy and science. So you got to be a martial philosopher, which you can tell I am based on how much I rant and put these things up on this channel. So after a while you start becoming a philosopher, and then after a while you start becoming a scientist. Because the way to truly understand what's going on is through science and indeed philosophy, because you need to question the morality of what you're doing. But that still does leave room for art. Because a lot of times, like when they start talking about things in Q show like tempo, that's from the arts, that's from music. And the first time I heard somebody talk about tempo, and he talked about, oh yeah, do this, like a jazz riff. I'm right there. I'm like, you mean to tell me all that time I spent learning jazz in college wasn't just about learning the concept of structure and practice, which is something else you need. Now, this concept of structure and practice is what you need really for the martial art of it, the art of the martial arts. But they use an art term to help you understand the kinesthesiology and kinetics of the martial science. So, it all comes together, and yet it all leads you to grow in different directions. So even in the long run, if you don't think it's going to pay off, you can study something artistic in addition to your martial arts. It's like music. That was one of the things I did. Drawing would be good too. Even poetry, some of the great martial arts masters have been great poets. Then you start studying philosophy, the Tao. Philosophy led me back to my own religion of Christianity, led me back to the Bible. I started reading the Bible again. And then eventually you need to find out just exactly how does the body work. First, so you could basically hurt the body. Sorry, that's just how it is. But also learning how the body works, so while you're practicing, you can heal the body. Or if you do minor damage like neuropraxia with your Q show, you can heal it right away and get rid of it. Because neuropraxia, from what I understand, I could be wrong, neuropraxia is extremely temporary and can last as little as a minute. I think it's a minute up to 6 weeks or up to 8 weeks. It's not considered serious damage. But I wouldn't know about that if I hadn't, said, well, right now I got to be a martial scientist. So martial artists, when they talk about us being martial scientists, they mean really understanding the anatomy and physiology and neurology of how your techniques work and come together in the martial arts. And even the psychology too. Because that's what's going to help you with your things of avoidance and awareness. Peace.